We finally got the announcement that Shadow Raids are coming to Pokémon GO. And there's a lot to unpack here. That's what this video is going to be all about, so let's roll the intro and get right into it. Hey, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day, and welcome to today's Pokémon GO video. Alright, so Shadow Raids are coming to Pokémon GO. This is something a bunch of us have predicted, considering that there were leaks regarding this upcoming new feature just a couple of weeks ago on Pokeminers, and there was a lot of speculation on how these raids would actually function, but now we got all of the details and it's actually really exciting. First and foremost, they are bringing in Shadow Mewtwo as the debut of Shadow Raids. I think this was a phenomenal move, mainly because Shadow Mewtwo is of course the absolute best Shadow Pokemon right now. And the fact that they are debuting this new feature with Shadow Mewtwo, that is incredible. And you have to give credit where credit is due. Niantic was not afraid to pull the trigger here. Just with Shadow Mewtwo alone, I think there's a lot of good implications. First and foremost, for all of those players who missed out on Shadow Mewtwo in the past, this is their opportunity to pick it up. This is also going to be a great opportunity for you to pick up a high IV of this powerful Shadow Pokemon. Now, it doesn't even end there. We're also going to be able to get a chance at a Shiny Shadow Mewtwo, which is insanely hype, like if you ask me, because not only is Mewtwo the absolute best Shadow Pokemon, you can also pick up its shiny form, which is going to be extremely valuable. You also have to consider this. This could be your best opportunity to pick up a Shundo Mewtwo. That is a Pokemon that I predict will become a lot more available. Of course, you still probably shouldn't purify your Shadow Mewtwo's, but if you have them in an abundance, then maybe purify one of those shiny Shadow Mewtwo's in order to pick up a Shundo or one with extremely high IVs. That is all now a possibility thanks to Shadow Raids being introduced into Pokémon GO. Also, apologies for the random noise. It looks like they're doing yard work right when I decided to record, so yeah, that's just great. Shadow Raids are also going to have some very unique raiding mechanics that I'm actually looking forward to. There's some things in Shadow Raids that I've been wanting for Pokémon GO's raiding system for a long time. Think of this as a small raiding gameplay rework that's only going to be for Shadow Raids, and I'm all for that. I do think when it comes to Shadow Raids, it was going to be more beneficial for this gameplay mode if they do make it a little bit different from regular raiding, and I do think they achieved that with some of these new mechanics. First and foremost, Shadow Raids are not going to be a walk in the park. They are definitely going to be a lot more difficult than regular raids, and they've made that pretty clear. For example, with regular Mewtwo raids, you need about 6 to 7 trainers to comfortably take it down. This time around, you might need more than 10. And that is because there's going to be mechanics introduced into Shadow Raids that's going to make the raid battle progressively harder. I really like that. I think that's a very unique design. It gives the Pokemon kind of like an enrage timer for all of you who used to play MMORPGs. I really do think this sort of challenging gameplay is going to make the game a lot better. So yeah, I'm curious to see how that's all going to go down. They also added a brand new item called the Purifying Gem, which is going to give you a temporary boost by making the Pokemon temporarily nerfed. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that they're trying out here, and I would like to see how it will impact raiding as a whole. Because let's be real here, raiding in general has felt pretty stale for the longest time. Like, there's a lot of things with raiding that's incredibly rewarding, but the gameplay itself just feels like a chore. It just feels like a grind. So I do like that they're switching things up. They're just implementing a lot of cool new mechanics, and I'm really excited to see what kind of impact it will have on the raiding scene. Of course, it's not just all positives with Shadow Raids that we could look forward to. There's a couple of things that Niantic is doing that I do not agree with, and it does draw a lot of concerns. First and foremost, Shadow Mewtwo is only going to be available for just 2 days, which means if you're someone like me who has a wedding on that weekend, you can miss out on Shadow Mewtwo raids if you have prior engagements, and I think that is kind of lame. Like, it would have been nice if they had Shadow Mewtwo available for the entire week, just have them spawning at a less rate. Something that I've always wanted for raid battles is that you have very special, very rare raids that spawn infrequently, and those would be specific raids that players would seek after and try to coordinate as much as they can. Like, it would have been really cool if they had Shadow Mewtwo raids spawning with regular raids, but they spawn very infrequently to the point where it is kind of like a mini event whenever it does spawn, and the hatch timer and the raid timer is just a little bit longer so that players have time to coordinate. I think that would have been really cool, but instead of doing that, it looks like Niantic is choosing to just have a weekend of Shadow Mewtwo raids, which personally I think that was a bit of a missed opportunity. And the other thing, which I know a lot of players are really unhappy about, is of course Niantic continuing their war against remote raids. Yes, when it comes to Shadow raids, you can only do them in person, which I think is a very bad move. Considering how difficult they're going to be compared to regular raids, getting as much help would have been really good. But instead, they are deciding to make them in person only, which means you and your friends will need to coordinate for that weekend in order to pick up Shadow Mewtwo's. If you are someone who lives in a rural area or somewhere with a low population, yeah, you're pretty much screwed. You will not be able to raid Shadow Mewtwo, and that is a huge bummer. So what are my thoughts regarding Shadow raids? Well, first and foremost, I'm really excited about them. Like, I do think they're going to switch up the gameplay a good amount, and I do like the fact that they're starting off really strong with Shadow Mewtwo. On the other hand, I'm also extremely concerned because I do think that removing remote raid access to these Shadow raids is definitely going to hurt them. I really do think that Niantic is just completely out of touch with their Pokemon Go community, and it's a real shame because this should have been one of the most hyped moments for Pokemon Go, but instead, Niantic is killing a lot of that hype by not allowing remote raids, and I really think this is a terrible direction for Pokemon Go. They do not realize how much damage they've done to the Pokemon Go community, and on top of that, they're just really continuing this trend of just being very out of touch with the Pokemon Go community, trying to release hype mechanics in gameplay in order to rebuild that bridge, and then continuing to destroy that bridge once again. So I really do not know what's going on over at Niantic. I don't know if it's the leadership. I don't know if it's pressure from shareholders that's causing them to make these sort of decisions, but I really do think when it comes to Niantic, when it comes to Pokemon Go, when it comes to Shadow raids, Niantic needs to pay attention to the feedback of the community. A lot of people want to be excited for Shadow raids, and rightfully so. It is something new and exciting, but a lot of that excitement and a lot of that hype is currently being curbed because of this one small caveat of not allowing remote raiders to join in. Like I said countless times in this video, this is a huge missed opportunity. They could have done something really cool like removing the limit temporarily, having remote raid passes a little bit cheaper. They could have made bank with Shadow raids, but instead, they decided to go the complete opposite route by restricting it even more, by preventing players in rural areas and low population areas from being able to participate. They're going to miss out on a lot of revenue, and I really think from a business standpoint, these sort of decisions are just completely boneheaded, and it makes little to no sense to me. But yeah, I'm not one of those higher ups at Niantic, so I really do not know what's exactly going on behind the scenes, but I really do hope Shadow raids ends up being a success because Pokemon Go is in dire need of some positivity. The game is on a very steep downward trend at the moment, and there's nothing that could possibly save it. Like Pokemon Go Fest is not going to save it, Go Tour is not going to save it, Shadow raids probably won't save it, but they need to build up the game. Like, they need to start moving upwards rather than continuing the trend downwards. I'm just really concerned because they're making some of these small decisions that's preventing them from doing that. But in any case, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Again, I apologize for the background noise. Funny enough, they stopped the yard work right when I'm done with this recording, so yeah, funny how that works out. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it to be informative. Let me know what you think about Shadow raids in the comments section down below. Do you think it is enough to save Pokemon Go? Definitely share those thoughts and let's have a great discussion. And if you ended up enjoying this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. All of you have been quite amazing, like jumping in remote raids even though remote raid sucks right now. Like, if you want to remote raid with me, if you want to support my channel, anything like that, make sure you go and check out the links in the description below. We have a nice community starting to form here, and I would like to do more for my Patreon supporters. I really do think there's a couple of cool things that I have working down the pipeline, so stay tuned for that, and don't miss out by not becoming a patron. But yeah, in any case, that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.